Cool. So I'm going to run through this Spaghetti Western Surf preset bundle. It's been on my website for a few years, but recently I made updates to it. So anyone who had purchased it in the past would have gotten an email from me. I do all my updates for free. So all these presets and actually everything on my website now has been updated to make use of the new 3.50 cab design, which sounds a lot better. It takes a lot less DSP, which means I can use some of the newer reverb models and stuff. So yeah, just a lot of improvements that I've made to my presets lately. I'm going to talk about the preset bundle a little bit. There's going to be timestamps in the description because it's going to be a longer video. But I'm going to start here by talking about the preset bundle. So here's what you get when you open it. We have the old version of the presets with an introductory PDF if you prefer how those are laid out or how they sound for some reason. We have the current presets, which are sorted by the pickup type that you use. So there's 2 distinct presets, each available in 3 forms. So we have a version for humbucker equipped guitars, Filtertron, Gretsch-style guitars like that guy over there, and then a version for single coils. So I'm on the EGS Spaghetti Western preset at the moment. We also have this introductory PDF that details how everything's laid out, how the folders are organized, and also has a few tips on how you might make use of these presets with your own rig. So yeah, basically 2 main presets, the Spaghetti preset, which we'll listen to in a second, and then the Psycho Surf preset. So the Spaghetti Western preset is inspired by Ennio Morricone's iconic Spaghetti Western soundtracks, and then we have the Psycho Surf preset, which is inspired by Dick Dale's guitar tone and Mark Speer's kind of effects. So if you don't know Mark Speer, he is the guitarist with Krangbin, plays a Strat with flat wound strings. I didn't dial in any presets for flat wound strings because I didn't think it'd be appropriate to a lot of people, so I kind of focused on Dick Dale's tone. And I used some of Mark's effects here in the preset. I'm a huge fan of his playing. So yeah, we have that, and then we also have a folder full of favorite effects, which if you haven't explored yet, this was a relatively recent update to the Helix. They added in favorites, and we've got all these settings you can save and recall. So you might have the preset, depending on how you want to use it. But you might want to switch in, like say, here we've got the MXR phaser. We could switch in an EHX phaser, an MXR, or the Boss phaser, for example, if you wanted to. You could switch out the distortion model if you want to. So this is a DS1. I also have versions here dialed in for EGH's humbuckers. If you're on a humbucker guitar, make sure you select the correct overdrive model. Filtertrons, EGS for single coils, so we could switch out a rat distortion there like nothing. It's easy. And then it's automatically loaded on footswitch 2. The way I always design my presets is, at least within a bundle, the footswitch layout's always consistent. So we're always going to have here reverb on 1, distortion on 2. This preset happens to have a secondary distortion, which is on 3. Then we have delay, a feedback thing. This might be a modulation on the other preset. Boost is always on 6. So the premise here is that the core sounds of the presets are contained within footswitches 1 through 3. Extra effects added on 4 and 5, and that's really the main part of the preset here. So I wanted to keep it accessible for people that are using the original HX Stomp, which is why I do that. However, I know probably some people are going to be using this on larger devices like the XL or the Helix Floor, the LT, the Rack, Native, whatever. So I've designed the presets to keep the core of the sounds on footswitches 1 through 5. Footswitch 6 is a boost. You're not going to miss that really. That's easy to dial in separately if you need to. Footswitch 7 is going to be like a tremolo, and footswitch 8 is a phaser. So let's check out a few of the different sounds we can get. Footswitch 1 is going to be a reverb here, and I'm doing this so the reverb's always on, and basically we're just switching a bunch of parameters in the reverb block. You can also see there's an overdrive here, which is the booster, post reverb, which is giving a little bit of distortion. So just something I like to do to try and find the correct sound for the show. Oftentimes they were using a spring reverb tank plugged into the front end of like a Fender Tweed style amp. And so that's what I'm doing here to emulate that. You can hear the reverb gets a little bit more gritty. The decay shortens a lot. We also make drastic changes to kind of the sound, the tone of the reverb, right? The first setting with the foot switch not engaged is going to be brighter. Press foot switch 2, and it cuts down the highs a lot. So it's a darker sound. It's a little bit more distorted, less decay, and vice versa in the low cut. So we have a higher low cut for the brighter sound, which means it's not getting as much bass low end. And then I lower that low cut to be, around a reasonable threshold here for the range of the guitar for that more intense sound. Foot switch 2 is going to be a rat distortion. Foot switch 2 is going to be a rat distortion. So this is, let's hear the clean sound and then I'll engage the distortion. Foot switch 3 is amp parameter toggle, so you can see everything that's changing over here. And this is what that sounds like. And of course you can stack them. That's one of the reasons I like foot switch mode. Let's go on and check out the slapback delay. It's pretty simple. And then on foot switch 5, we actually have a momentary switch, which is going to change a few parameters in the delay block. So the main thing that's changing is feedback. We're almost maxing that out. If you want it to explode and just kind of take over and go into self-oscillation, put that up to 100. If you want it to kind of sit there comfortably, like what I personally like to hear it do, put it at 99%. I'm also lowering the headroom, which makes the delay itself distort. It is a stereo delay being fed into a mono amp block, so this is an interesting sound. Not only is the amp distorting a little bit with the delay, but it's also being summed down to mono, since all amp blocks in the Helix are mono. And so I increased the spread. I thought it just had an interesting sound when I increased the spread and then brought it back down to mono. And also the time is changing here. Foot switch 6 is a 3.5 decibel solo boost if you need that. Foot switch 7 is going to control your tremolo, which of course you can swap out with the favorites if you prefer a stereo tremolo as opposed to this dual mono one. So and this is really simple too. So if you don't have foot switch 7 or 8, like you're not on the Stomp XL or one of the other larger Helix units, this is really easy to reassign. I just set it and left it with a simple bypass function. Nothing you really need to program other than just heading here and assigning it to a different foot switch that you want to replace, maybe like the feedback button if you don't need that. And then phaser, which you can also switch out. So I have models for the Boss type phaser, which uses the pan phaser. Also, again, stereo, pan down to mono. Has a really interesting sound this way. Then we have the HX small stone phaser you could switch in if you wanted to. And the cool thing about this is that it's super simple. So all you do is just double click on the effect that you want to switch to, and it's going to be loaded up to the same foot switch as it was earlier. But yeah, so that is the single coil spaghetti preset. I'm going to switch to my PRS, which is a Les Paul style guitar, and I'm going to do the same thing, run through the sounds so you can hear what that preset sounds like. So this is a PRS McCarty with PAF style pickups. It's basically a Les Paul. Pickups are like really right in the middle of the road for humbuckers, so hopefully it'll work well no matter what side of the spectrum your guitar is on. Same with the Stratocaster, they're kind of middle of the road pickups. So again, separate preset here. I'm on the electric guitar humbucker version of that same preset. I'll just run through some of these sounds. Nothing has changed in the effects, but mostly I just wanted you to hear the overdrive. So here's the clean sound. And some amp overdrive. You can stack them, of course. Cool. I'm going to switch to the Psycho Surf preset. Start here with the humbucker guitar and then switch to the Strat. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, I also have versions of these presets for Filtertron equipped guitars. I'll get to that all the way at the end of the video. So this now is the Psycho Surf preset. Again, the dry sound is kind of inspired by Dick Dale's tone. It's tough to do with the humbucker guitar, but you'll hear the Strat in a second. And then the wet effects are inspired by Mark Speer and Krangman's playing. So first thing, again, we have reverb on footswitch 1, which is going to switch parameters here for two different sounds. So with the footswitch not engaged, we have a longer decay, darker sound here. High cuts down pretty low. Not as present as when we press the footswitch. We're going to get more actual volume from the spring reverb, lighten up on the high cut so it sounds brighter. And then we have a much shorter decay. So here is the difference. I'm on my middle pickup here. And something that Mark Speer does a lot is he'll turn on a wah and just kind of leave it there. So it's using the wah block, but there's no wah controller. It's just a fixed setting here. And here you can see it on the screen. Just such a cool sound. And then we have overdrive on footswitch 3. So not a ton of overdrive, just a little bit to kind of match the sound you would expect for this genre. Footswitch 1, or footswitch 4 rather, is going to be a delay. If you want to hold footswitch 5 again, that's going to be your feedback control, and that'll go into self-oscillation the longer you hold that. So this is using the transistor tape delay. As soon as I let go of that, that's going to go away. Of course, it doesn't do anything if the delay is not engaged. So here is settings for that if you ever wanted to try that on your own preset, for instance. Yeah. So we have a boost here, which is set up on footswitch 6, like always, 3.5 decibels. And I'm doing that with the always on compressor. That's at the end of the preset. And then same as before, we have tremolo on footswitch 7. And a phaser on footswitch 8. Here's a nice combination of sounds you might find yourself using. So let's check out this preset on a Strat. So, again, same preset, just built for single coil guitar now. So yeah, that is the Tune Maiden presets in the humbucker and the single coil variations. I'm going to switch briefly to the Filtertron guitar so you can hear what that sounds like. This is my Fano TC6. It's got TV Jones Supertron pickups in it, actually, which are a little bit different than Filtertrons, but definitely in the same vein. You're going to find Filtertron pickups on any Gretsch guitar, basically. I really love the sound of them. They've got the same output level as humbuckers, but they're much brighter sounding. So this is going to be the Psycho Surf preset, the same one you just heard. Just with the Filtertron style pickups. Overdriven tone. So here's the Spaghetti Western preset for the Filtertron guitar. So that was clean slate, just the amp overdrive, just the overdrive from the DS1, and then combined. And again, the effects haven't really changed. Effects haven't really changed between different pickup versions of these presets. So you can find everything on alexpricemusician.com/helix. I've got the complete preset library, which is an assortment of complete presets that are designed to make your HX Stomp act as your complete rig, your entire rig. So this is just a loose collection of presets that I've used over the years. We also have a smaller collection just for basses, just for violins, or you can get the complete preset library, which includes electric guitar with humbuckers, single coils, jazz guitar, acoustic instruments, bass guitar, special effects, acoustic and electric violin, bunch of impulse responses I've made for acoustic instruments, and also of the Mesa Boogie over there. And yeah, the premium amp tones, those are just amp tone presets with a bunch of overdriven stages that are just kind of designed to work if you're someone that uses your HX Stomp with other external pedals, or if you just want to drop in kind of a pre-made amp sound and customize it with some of your own effects on the larger devices, you can do that as well. And then finally, the all-purpose presets, which are preset bundles that are made to try and encompass an entire genre of music within just one or two presets. So yeah, if you haven't yet, I also have some free presets here, and I recently uploaded a ton of chord books, which is what I use at the university that I teach at with my students. So got various drop 2 and 3 chord voicing, 7th chord arpeggios, triads, the modes of melodic and harmonic minor, and the 7 modal scale shapes, which I also like to compare to the cage theory, just a different way of learning the guitar. So you can go pick up some free stuff there if you want, and all the Helix presets are at alexpricemusician.com/helix. I'm going to use the Spaghetti Western preset this weekend. I'm playing with the Erie Philharmonic Orchestra, and we're doing a type of concert that I've wanted to do for a while. It's been popular in the orchestra world, where they take a film projected above the orchestra provides the score, and the film is played for the audience with the original voiceovers and sound effects. So I'm covering the guitar book. I'm going to use the Spaghetti Western preset for that, I think. And also I have to play acoustic guitar, so I'll have a separate preset for that, just all running through the Helix direct to the front of house for them. And yeah, anyway, if you have any questions, again, just leave a comment down below, or you can send me an email on my website at alexpricemusician.com/contact. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.